There's two 90s Sonic the Hedgehogs, which we've talked about, and then there's we had Sonic X.
Sonic X. You're watching Sonic X.
Yeah, I watched that when I was probably too old to be watching it, but it was like I don't know, third grade-ish.
2003 to 2006.
Middle school-ish. I still
graduated in 2007. That's high school.
Welcome to Namely 90s. Wow. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there's Brandon.
That's me.
Did I sound defeated when I said that? And over there is fucking Brandon. I was torn at the top of the show.
Wow.
E-tag. Boom. You can find us online at namely90s.com.
I might have to bleep that if we have a short intro.
Or you can just blank it out.
Or just we get demonetized on YouTube. Not that we're already monetized.
Online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with a 90s. You can also find this show on YouTube every Monday if we haven't been kicked off of it at namely90s.com/YouTube, something. And then also if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with a 90s, and get signed up for one of the levels. Here we are again.
Yes, here we are again. This time, recording off of the proper microphone, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't sound too terrible.
Yeah, well, yeah. That was a mix of Zoom audio and...
It was okay.
I think Zoom still had the correct audio, but I spent 3.5 hours recording with Steampunk Link and MU0 for Snescapades, and... I recorded locally, and he's like, do you need me to do our cloud recording too? I'm like, no, that's fine, I got it, I'm a professional, I've done this many of times. And then I get back to, and I'm listening to the Quotely from last week, and it's just like me talking, and like my computer's all the way over here for you visual seers, visual watchers, visual listeners, and I'm just like, oh, I've recorded through my computer's, like...
Yeah, it drives me nuts. I did that with watching comics when we did Secret of Views too. Mm-hmm. I ended up recording my webcam, my laptop audio or something, and it was just horrendous.
Well, so I think what happened was...
Well, I set my Zoom defaulted back to a different microphone instead of my actual microphone.
Yep.
Because I was like, oh, it's fine, just use the Zoom recording. But then I selected the wrong goddamn microphone.
Yeah. Yep. That happens.
But anyway,
100 episodes in, it still happens.
Yeah. Is this a podcast? How did we get here?
How did we get here?
Yeah, we are on episode 100,
Yay.
Which would, if you were logical and like me, would be a milestone. It's just another episode. But find us next week. Is it next week or the week after? I don't know.
Week after.
Find us on episode 102, where we commemorate our 102nd episode. I mean,
yes.
Wait.
2 years. 2-year extravaganza. This is actually episode 125.
That is true.
We just label it production order 100, but we've had 25 bonus specials. Now
so that means a quarter of our episodes. Well, a little bit more than a quarter of our episodes are. A fifth of a quarter of a 20% of our episodes are bonus content.
Yep. Well, because we don't, when we do this Christmas specials, those are all bonus content. So technically our 2-year...
Depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. Technically our 2-year anniversary should be next week, right? No.
I don't know. It's been roughly 2 years. Yay, us.
Oh, no, I remember what happened. This year, it only 12 days only covered 1 week worth of show.
Was this a leap month?
No.
That doesn't even mean anything.
Very unfortunate. It was a very unfortunate Christmas scheduling, and you don't like us missing Mondays because we are consistent if we are not one thing. Anything else? I just received I didn't receive a text. I opened up Facebook, which is what you do when you're on a podcast, to me,
right?
Yeah. Thank you.
And I looked at my phone and Facebook was up. And someone I know said that she's watching Paul McCartney sing Let It Be in Spokane live right now. First of all, it's a super late concert. Second of all, we had a conversation this morning about how the concert tour is called Paul McCartney Got Back. And yes, I understand the reference to the song Get Back.
That's not the...
well, I mean, it's not the name of the song, but, like Get Back. It's one of the songs they do. Is
the reference,
that him?
Yes, but the song is to the Beatles back in the USSR.
Okay, but in any case,
okay.
Paul McCartney got back, as in, I'm sorry, did no one see that, or do they understand that it's also that reference and just have no idea who their demographic is?
That is possible. That is the reference, Get Back. But because he has two of his other tours were back in the USSR again and back in the USA. So, but baby got back. That's all I'm saying. Paul McCartney got that dumpy.
He's just twerking nonstop. He's like 80 years old.
They roll him out onto the stage with the piano, and he instead of sitting, he twerks while playing the piano.
Oh gosh, no, it is weird. I'm surprised that in his what I assume and hope to be his farewell tour, because he's like 82 or something.
Death upon him?
No, he's just so old. Why would he choose to come to Spokane? It's like that guy could sell out like any place, and he's like, let's go to Spokane Memorial Arena and sell 13,000 tickets.
Well, I would say that the majority of people that listen to oldies may have the Venn diagram of old people, old of a single race,
white people.
Yes, and the people that live in Spokane, they overlap quite a bit.
The same people who love the song Sweet Caroline. It's the same circle.
Ba, ba, ba.
Anyway, that was not a planned...
strike never looked so good.
Yeah, that was not a planned segment, but that was kind of funny. And then I'm about a third of the way through watching Hamilton for the first time, which someone I know recently thought that the musical was called Franklin. I mean, it was at a party, so drinks were had and other such items, but they thought that it was called Franklin.
As in Franklin, I
was thinking Franklin the turtle, or the kid from the Peanuts comics, or Benjamin Franklin, I suppose. Like that I could see making that mistake to a degree.
Yes, Alexander Franklin.
Anyway, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard good things. I had an ex that was really into it. She got some of the first tickets to a showing post-pandemic, which doesn't make sense because we were like in the middle of the pandemic when we broke up.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is pretty talented for sure.
Yeah, and kind of does the same thing over and over again, but
it works for him.
Yes. Yeah.
He did the same thing when he guest starred on House for like 5 episodes.
Yeah. Or he shows up in like animated shows like Bob's Burgers and The Simpsons, and does the exact same songs and freestyle rapping.
But again, if you've got a formula that works, that's good. It's good.
I mean, I know he's trying to break away from it, but Disney doesn't do stuff like that. Before we move on, I was slicing cucumbers last night to make some quick pickles.
I bet you were.
Wait, I have a nice mandolin, a V-shaped mandolin, but it's all metal. So the cucumbers were a little slick, and I don't like wearing that stupid metal chainmail for your hand. And I was like, I almost finished slicing 2 whole cucumbers. I had like maybe an inch left, and I was just being frugal and trying to get as much out of the cucumber as I could. And sliced open my finger. To which my kitchen then looked like a scene from Dexter.
Oh man, yeah, that's you should get some of those like welding gloves or something.
Yeah, I mean, it came with like this like a chainmail style glove, but to prevent you from slicing your tips off. But I'm careful.
Yeah, clearly
not. Yeah.
Well, they usually some of them come with a guide, but it depends on what kind you get.
There's a guide for it as well, but that's cumbersome. Pardon the pun.
Cucumbersome.
Yeah. And it's not as quick. It's much quicker to just do it by hand. And
how much time did it save you to bleed everywhere? Have to
this is the first time that I've had
oh man!
It did take me I stopped for 15 minutes so that the blood would coagulate, but then I ripped off the Band-Aid that I threw on it immediately to kind of clean it up because it was soaked in blood. And then that reopened the wound for another 15 minutes. But this time I just put paper towels around it, so when I pulled it off again, it started to bleed again. But I sealed it, and it's not as bloody this time. So congratulations, B. Thank you for coming to the health corner of Namely 90s.
Yeah.
Yes, I do not have gauze at home, and I should have had gauze. That would
Listen, there's no proof that applying pressure to a wound does anything. That's big gauze trying to convince you to buy. Don't support big gauze, okay?
Yeah, I can tell you for the amount of blood that was spewing out of my finger, applying pressure did help stop the blood flow last night.
I don't know, but I heard Joe Rogan say that. No, I'm just kidding.
I also, in following Joe Rogan's advice, took horse pills to stop the bleeding.
There it is. Horse dewormer can cure what ails you by killing you immediately. What? Yeah. Nope.
Should we get into it?
What else? Yeah, let's do it. So, why don't you tell us what was going on in May of 1998?
Travel back with you, listeners, to May of 1998. And Andrew, you're welcome to come with me as well.
Okay, we'll see.
As he has already popped up Facebook on his phone. On the 1st, Uma Thurman marries Ethan Hawke. Do you know who either of those people are?
Uma Thurman. Family Guy does a joke about her eyes getting further and further apart. She's in Kill Bill and other things.
I think that was the Pulp Fiction scene.
Yeah, and then Ethan Hawke is also in things such as Gattaca.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Gattaca?
Yeah, he was in Gattaca.
And Training Day.
Oh yeah. He was the white guy in Training Day?
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good movie.
It is. I actually watched it recently.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me. He's also the antagonist in the limited run series Moon Knight that ends this week on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
Yes. That was probably the only... Well, actually, episode 5 was phenomenal.
Can I just tell you how mad I am that Hulu decided that my phone is no longer a recognized device and I had to figure out how to make that work again?
Have you tried?
I've tried nothing and nothing's working.
I don't know. Nothing doesn't sound like it's working. Yeah.
Gosh.
On the 2nd, the Battle of Hogwarts occurs. The fictional battle that ended the Second Wizarding War with the death of Lord Voldemort. Basically the end of Book 7. This was an actual thing that was listed on the on this day thing that I looked through to cull our stuff.
Well, that woman is insufferable, isn't she?
You mean the turf woman?
Yeah.
But yes, so if you read Harry Potter
Harry Potter.
I guess technically, if you watch the movies, that final battle, seventh book, 8th movie, occurred on the 2nd of May, 1998. On the 4th, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, is sentenced with 4 life sentences plus 30 years after accepting a plea agreement. On the 7th, Mercedes-Benz buys Chrysler for $40 billion USD to form Daimler Chrysler in the largest industrial merger in history, up to Elon Musk buying Twitter.
But then didn't Chrysler kind of fold during the recession? Yes. And then Fiat had to come by them, so it's like first the Germans, then the Italians.
So,
but apparently it's improved things there.
Are they now officially Mercedes-Benz, Chrysler, Daimler, Dodge, Fiat?
It's now called FCA. I don't remember. I think it means for like Fiat Chrysler thing.
Gotcha. Also on the 7th, Mr. Beast is born. Do you know who Mr. Beast is, Andrew?
No. Fiat Chrysler automobiles. No, I don't.
Would you hazard a guess to who Mr. Beast is?
Yeah, I'm gonna guess. I don't know.
Popular YouTuber Mr. Beast.
Oh boy.
He's the guy that just gives everyone money, or gives away money as content. He also created a bunch of pop-ups called Mr. Beast Burgers, which are terrible, by the way.
It doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they sound good. When you get it, it's not great. It's not pop-ups, ghost kitchens. So, like, they run out of, like, Applebee's. The back of an Applebee's. On the 11th, India conducts 3 underground nuclear tests. Hard stance, Mr. Beast Burger, not good. On the 11th, India conducts 3 underground nuclear tests with 2 more on the 13th. Also on the 11th, ZDTV channel begins airing, eventually becomes Tech TV, which then becomes G4, which then becomes the Esquire channel before dying, but G4 returned last year as a hybrid TV streaming channel. On the 13th, race riots break out in Jakarta, Indonesia, against the Indonesians of Chinese descent. On the 14th, the 2-part finale of Seinfeld airs to 76.3 million viewers. Commercials are priced at $2 million for 30-second ads. That's like Super Bowl viewership.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, like, think of your favorite show that's on TV now. That's a bad analogy. You don't watch TV. But
yeah, but like a show that I would consider popular that I like is like, 12 million viewers.
I was going to say 1.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, like a popular show, like 24 or, House in the later seasons.
Current era, like CSI that just came back, probably got maybe 1.5 million viewers per night. Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's different now because of streaming and
DVRs and all that.
But still, 76 is more than back when broadcast television was like the main thing.
Yes. My point was just to compare it to what viewership's like these days.
I don't know what viewership's like these days.
Pretty low. On the 14th, Frank Sinatra passes away at 82. Oh. On the 18th, United States v. Microsoft antitrust case. Antitrust case is filed. On the 19th, DMX releases his debut studio album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Andrew, can you tell me the top #1 single off of DMX's debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot?
Not at all. I don't know anything. Especially about that genre.
I don't think I can tell you what it is either. I just wanted to throw you under the bus. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Rough Riders Anthem is on that album. The 4 singles are Get At Me Dog, Stop Being Greedy, Rough Riders Anthem, and How's It Going Down. I believe Rough Riders Anthem features... Nope, no idea. Anyway, on the 28th, Pakistan has 5 nuclear tests of its own in response to India's. Did you remember that Pakistan and India have a antagonist
Yeah, and then one of them accidentally lobbed a missile into the other one like a month ago.
Oh, yeah. It's perfectly normal, perfectly healthy.
Yeah. Get your missiles under control, people. Good Lord.
Also on the 28th, Phil Hartman, ripped to the max, is murdered in his sleep by his wife.
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Totally normal, totally healthy.
TV premiering/ending. Premiering on the 11th. The Screensavers, which was Attack of the Show before Attack of the Show existed, on ZDTV/Tech TV. On the 14th, premiering is Celebrity Deathmatch on MTV. Do you remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Was it that like claymation thing?
Mm-hmm.
That was like wrestling, but really gory.
Yes, and it was celebrities. Everyone seemed to love that for some reason. Ending in May of 1998. On the 14th, we have Seinfeld, as I mentioned already. On the 16th, we have Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. On the 18th, we have both Murphy Brown and Team Knight Rider. Remember any significance of any of these? He asks while he's drinking.
Well, Murphy Brown was the one with,
You do it. Vice President.
I don't know. The one that like the American Council on Families said was bad because it portrayed a single mother.
Yes.
Candace Bergen.
Yes. No. Nice pull. Wasn't it Ross Perot, Vice President?
Something like that. The American Council on Families denounces single mothers. That's essentially what it is.
Speaking of single mothers, on the 22nd, Singled Out ends on MTV. On the 26th, Soul Man. And on the 31st, The Larry Sanders Show ends its run. In the box office, on the 1st, we have Les Miserables.
Wait, wasn't there a more recent one with Russell Crowe in it?
Yes, sir. Both Russell Crowe and man who can't sing, Hugh Jackman. One of those two couldn't sing, and Anne Hathaway was in it too.
Didn't someone recently call it Les Miserables? Did you send you a text? No, I texted you because someone called it Les Miserables.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Les Miserables.
Not me.
The Miserables, I believe it's translates to directly. No, this one featured Liam Neeson, who you're familiar with. Jeffrey Rush. No? Yes?
No. Nope.
He's Captain Barbossa in the Pirates movies.
Oh, okay.
Uma Thurman, who got married this month. And Claire Danes. Claire Danes of God, what was it?
There's a name you don't hear too much anymore.
Right?
Did she die? Whoops.
No, she did not. On the 8th, Deep Impact, featuring Robert Duvall, Tia Leone, Elijah Wood, Morgan Freeman, Kurtwood Smith, James Cromwell, Vanessa Redgrave, Jon Favreau, and just absolute shit.
Now that's a cast.
Yes.
Tia Leone, she is or was married to David Duchovny.
She was.
Elijah Wood, Morgan Freeman, Kurtwood Smith, the name I always forget, but who plays Red Foreman.
Dumbass.
And Dave Matthews' dad on an episode of House. James Cromwell, I mean, you can't go wrong with him. Jon Favreau. Who else? There was... that was it.
Robert Duvall, Vanessa Redgrave, Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
On the 19th, The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, a direct-to-TV video sequel of The Brave Little Toaster, apparently an 80s movie. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But
no.
They're going to show up a lot over the next few weeks. On the 20th, Godzilla, featuring Matthew Broderick, Hank Azaria, and Jean Reno. God, that was a dumpster fire. And on the 22nd, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Have you ever seen that one? I watched part of it. It's real weird. It's got Johnny Depp in it.
Mm-hmm. I haven't seen it. It's on my list of movies
I believe it's based on a book by Hunter S. Thompson. Mm-hmm. And basically they're just like tripping out on acid and they're afraid that bats are attacking them.
That's the movie?
That's the part of the movie I remember is they're afraid of bats.
And if you want Andrew to watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in season 2 of Namely 90s, let us know in the comments below.
Bats.
No, that's on my list of ones that I need to watch. In the Billboard charts, May of 1998. Number 1, May of 1998, in from April, and for the first 3 weeks is Too Close by Next. And My All by Mariah Carey for the 4th week, and again Too Close by Next for the final week. Continuing on for the first week of May 1998, at number 2, You're Still the One by Shania Twain. Number 6, one of my personal favorites, Body Bumpin' Yippee-Yi-Yo by Public Announcement, which I don't think I've heard before the last time we mentioned this song. Number 7, Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden. Number 8, Everybody by Backstreet Boys. Number 10, Sex and Candy by Marcy's Playground. Number 13, I Want You Back by NSYNC. Number 15, No 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 by Destiny's Child. Number 16, My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. And number 22, Getting Jiggy With It by Chris Rock slapping master himself, Will Smith. Number 23, I fell apart in that joke, Together Again by Janet Jackson. And number 25, How's It Gonna Be by Third Eye Blind.
Good list.
Yeah.
Let's go to Brandon with the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to our mid-episode break, Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of the premiere of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, we are looking back at the last Star Trek film to feature the original series cast, Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country. Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country is a 1991 science fiction film made to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Star Trek franchise. After T.J. Hooker shot the bed with Star Trek V, Spock pitched a story about what if the wall came down in space, essentially framing the end of the Cold War using the tensions between the Klingons and the Federation the same way the original series had, which fills in the gaps between the original series and Star Trek The Next Generation, as the Klingons are somewhat peaceful with the Federation in the latter series. After the Klingon moon of Praxis explodes and causes an ecological disaster on their homeworld, the Klingons recognize that war is no longer a viable option and seek peace with the United Federation of Planets. Starfleet sends the USS Enterprise A to escort the Klingon Chancellor to Earth because sending the one captain in Starfleet whose son was murdered by Klingons makes sense. Among the group of Klingons is General Chang, who enjoys quoting Shakespeare a lot, which is even better in the original Klingonese. Yes, you heard that one right. The original Klingonese. Shakespeare. During the trip, the Enterprise is framed to look like they fired on the Klingon ship and the Chancellor is assassinated, which causes Kirk and McCoy to be arrested and tried for the murder. Of course, they're found guilty and are sent to Space Alcatraz on the frozen planetoid Aurora Penthe. Captain Spock aboard the Enterprise stages a rescue of Kirk and McCoy, who escape the prison through a series of backstabs and deals. Once back aboard the ship, Kirk finds 2 of the conspirators dead, and they set a sting for the 3rd conspirator, who turns out to be Samantha from Sex and the City, playing a Vulcan protege of Spock's. Spock does a non-consensual mind meld on her and learns that there's a plan by P.F. Chang to assassinate the Federation president at the peace talks. The Enterprise and the Excelsior race there, destroy the cloaked lettuce-wrapped ship, and Kirk slow-mo saves the president. The movie ends with Starfleet giving orders to decommission the Enterprise A, and Kirk sails the ship off into the sunset. Starset. Great beyond. Whatever. They go fly off into space. The end. And that's Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now, back to the show.
Anywhere you want to go?
Let's see where you went. Go from there.
Well, after last week's, or 2 weeks ago's really dark place that we went.
Oh my God, there's so much.
Oh, I'm not gonna read it all. Yeah, if I hand it off to you this time, do not read everything that's in the notes. Pick and choose.
I don't know. Let's go with Phil Hartman.
I know you're not. You don't like the improving thing.
I'm not very good at it, but I don't mind if you do it.
Fair enough.
No, I think Phil Hartman's death deserves more attention than we gave it during the Jingle All the Way episode.
I mean, is there anything else from the list that you want to talk about?
Well, I already made my jokes about Les Miserables, Deep Impact.
I remember I could not listen to Sex and Candy by Marcy's Playground because it sounded like this weird song from a video game that I had that I hated and I gave to you. It was a PC game. I was happy when you took it because it creeped me the fuck out. And that's our second expletive of the episode. For probably 2 decades, could not listen to that song without being like creeped out.
Yeah, I just know the Marcy Playground one.
Well, I mean, the point was I gave you a video game once, a PC game that I know you played.
But what was it, though?
I do not remember, but it was when your computer was still down and on the bottom floor of your house. You didn't have a computer in your room at that time. I couldn't tell you what it was called. It was just like, it was odd and creepy and...
What was the genre of game?
I don't know, side-scrolling platformer.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what it was. I just hated it, and I got rid of it by giving it to you.
I remember there was a CD-ROM that came in a box of corn checks once, and it was like a first-person shooter, but instead of a gun, you had a spoon.
But that's a melee weapon. Did it shoot spoons, or...?
No, I mean, it was a melee weapon, but that was all you had. Huh. It was called Chex Quest. It was a non-violent first-person shooter game created in 1996 by Digital Cafe. Why?
I mean, have you ever heard of Sneak King?
It was a total conversion of the more explicitly violent video game Doom.
That was a Doom skin? That's awesome.
Oh, classic. Anyway.
Speaking of violence, Phil Hartman died. I can't remember if we mentioned it in Jingle All the Way episode. It was like possibly the more recent Futurama episode, possibly the News Radio episode. I don't remember if we like really focused on it, but thought we should bring it up again. Even though there's a lot this month, but nothing new.
No, Joe Rogan. I can't get away from this blowhard.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was in News Radio. It was him, Andy Dick.
Andy Dick.
That was really good. What else? I wanted to say Laura Prepon, but I know that's not correct. News Radio was a great show. Watched it all the time on reruns on Lifetime. Anyway, Phil Hartman. Let's see.
He's a comedian.
Yes.
And actor.
Oh, right. Sorry. The important parts here is that he wasn't in a happy marriage, but he stayed together for the kids, which apparently led to him dying. So don't do that. You're doing more harm to your children, possibly. Although not married, so I should not be giving any advice at all. Let's see. On May 27th, 1998, his wife Bryn visited the Italian restaurant Buca di Beppo in Encino, California.
Buca di Beppo
would cause any person to go insane, which is not a funny joke given she has mental illness. And she was with a friend of hers who said after the fact that Bryn was in a good frame of mind. They had drinks. After returning home, she had a repeated argument with Phil. After which he went to bed. She entered his bedroom sometime before 3 a.m. on the 28th, and as he slept, it fatally shot him once between the eyes, once in the throat, and once in the upper chest with a Charter Arms .38 caliber handgun. Are you familiar with is that like a .38 special, or I'm not good with the guns.
What the fact it was .38 caliber?
Well, yes, the Charter Arms .38 caliber.
I'm pretty sure it's just like a revolver.
Gotcha. He was 49. She was taking Zoloft and had drinking alcohol, and recently used cocaine. So
cocaine mixes really well with all the antidepressants, as far as I know,
and alcohol. She then drove to the home of her friend, Ron Douglas, confessed the killing, but he didn't believe her. They drove back to the house in separate cars. She called another friend and confessed a second time.
Or as Bill Cosby would say, I'm just going to take some zips and some zops. No. I don't know why Bill Cosby came to mind. But
clearly, this is the time for it. Upon seeing Hartman's body, Douglas called 911 at 6:20 a.m. They escorted Douglas and the Hartmans' 2 children from the premises when the police arrived, and Bryn had locked herself in the bedroom. Shortly afterwards, she committed suicide by self-inflicted gunshots. Yes, it was that was the incident. A friend of theirs said that Bryn got attention by losing her temper.
I like this one that says that a wrongful death lawsuit was filed in 1999 by her brother Gregory Omdahl against Pfizer, the manufacturer of Zoloft, and against her child psychiatrist Arthur Sorosky, who had provided samples of the antidepressant to Bryn.
For their children?
I just say that, most antidepressants require you to be on them for 6 weeks before they start working. So how does the concept of a free sample make sense for an antidepressant? You take it one day and see if it helps. Well, it doesn't work that way. So I don't know.
I like the next part where John Lovitz accuses Andy Dick of introducing Bryn to cocaine, which caused her relapse and suffer nervous breakdown. Reintroducing her to cocaine, excuse me. And then they apparently hate each other for the rest of time now.
I guess.
At one point, Dick approached Lovitz at a restaurant and said, Can you do it? I can't do the...
I put the Phil Hartman... Oh, nope, that's a weird voice. No, I can't do it.
I put the Phil Hartman hex on you. You're the next one to die.
I'm Andy Dick. I can only do the name.
And then Lovitz had him ejected from the restaurant. Also, the following year at the Laugh Factory, they got into another argument with John Lovitz slamming Andy Dick's head into the bar. That's
the name of their new show. Watch 2 comedians punch each other in the face.
Andrew did an air quote there.
It's a podcast. Watch 2 unfunny comedians punch each other in the face.
I also thought it was interesting that what was interesting? It was, so we talked about this in the Futurama episode. He was very close. They were going to start Futurama soon because it started in the 98, 99 season. Phil Hartman was going to be Zap Brannigan. He was currently on News Radio, so in the Series 5 premiere, they say Hartman's character, Bill McNeil, died of a heart attack. That's a tough episode to watch. They canceled the performance on Saturday Night Live for that weekend, and I think The Simpsons also canceled their show that weekend as well.
The moral of the story: if you have a mental illness, definitely use illicit drugs, right?
Yes. And if you have a mental illness and are using illicit drugs, definitely keep a gun in the house.
Well, and I think the other thing is that cocaine's laced with all sorts of wacky stuff. You're just using I'm just snorting basically what's some cocaine mixed with dried milk powder. That can't be good for the brain.
No. No.
Especially if you're lactose intolerant. Andy Dick. Oh, sorry.
Some posthumous. There we go. Some posthumous appearances of Hartman included an episode of The Simpsons. His final appearance was in Bart the Mother, and the episode is dedicated to him in season 10. And his final film was Small Soldiers. Small Soldiers.
Plus, I was just going to say, John Lovitz and Andy Dick only make posthumous appearances.
Do you remember Small Soldiers?
I'm aware of it vaguely.
Starring Tommy Lee Jones or Kirsten Dunst and who else is that? And Kevin Scott. Anyway, terrible movie. It's sad that was
Phil
his final.
Hartman, Gregory Smith, David Cross, Wilson.
Basically, they're a bunch of action figures that came to life.
Rotten Tomatoes score 48. Not the worst.
48? That's a terrible movie.
48.
Wow. Speaking of terrible movies, shall we talk about Godzilla?
Yeah, I never saw it. Let's do it.
What? You didn't see the blockbuster 1998 Roland Emmerich film, Godzilla?
No, not at all.
That one. Are you familiar with
I almost just typed
Gojira?
Dogzilla into...
So apparently, after a lot of controversy, this version of Godzilla has been renamed just Zilla because it's not Godzilla. Godzilla is a 1998 American monster film directed and co-written by Roland Emmerich.
So bad.
It's a reimagining of Toho's Godzilla franchise. Are you familiar with the Japanese Godzilla movies? The concept of them?
Yes.
The film stars Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, Maria Patillo, Hank Azaria, Kevin Dunn, Michael Lerner, and Harry Shearer. I'm sure some of those names are people. It was bad. It was theatrically released on May 20th, 1998 to negative reviews. Although it grossed $379 million worldwide against a production budget between $130 and $150 and a marketing cost of $80 million. So despite turning a profit, it was considered to be a box office disappointment, but technically it was profitable. The plan,
only just.
Yes, but still, it's usually double the budget. If you make more money than double the budget, you're profitable. The planned sequels were canceled, and an animated series was produced instead, which I watched and loved, by the way. Yes, in 2004, Toho began trademarking new iterations of this Godzilla as quote unquote Zilla, which is
why does it, like, Independence Day looked pretty good for its time. Mm-hmm. Why does this look so horrible?
Well, imagine if you took Independence Day and then thought, we can do everything Jurassic Park did except do it all digitally, and that's what you get for 1998.
Boy, it's not good. It's not good at all.
So the thing is, this Godzilla, it looks like a lizard. It acts like a lizard. It reproduces like Jurassic Park asexually.
Asexually.
Like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. Some of them reproduced asexually, and there's a whole scene. So this Godzilla lays a bunch of eggs in Madison Square Garden, and so all the babies are hatching, and it's just the raptor scene from any Jurassic Park movie. And they look like raptors. I don't know who thought this design was a good idea. Matthew Broderick was in it for some reason after 2 films.
Why?
Exactly. Because this is coming off of, was The Rock? That was Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Roland Emmerich coming off of Independence Day. what else did he just he like he had one per year, I feel like.
Let's look it up.
That's what I'm doing currently. So he had Stargate in 94. He had Independence Day in 96. Okay, he was coming off of Stargate and Independence Day, and he lands with Godzilla. Although next up is The Patriot in 2000, so that's better, I guess. But yeah, although problematic actor. Yeah. I liked it as a kid, not gonna lie, but it's not a good movie. I recognize it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
No, it looks really bad.
It is really bad.
Like inexplicably so much worse than Independence Day, which is weird. Maybe a budget difference?
Maybe. Speaking of budget differences, I want to talk about ZDTV. Currently drinking out of my G4 intern mug. Says return to G4 if lost. So Andrew doesn't know anything about any of this.
No, it's like a network.
It is a network.
For gaming people?
For nerd culture. Tech TV. ZDTV is a defunct 24-hour cable and satellite channel based out of the San Francisco area, about news and shows about computers, technology, and the internet. It merged with G4, a gaming channel, in 2004, and it ultimately got rid of most of the Tech TV programming, except for Screensavers, which was eventually retweaked into Attack of the Show, which is back. Highly recommend checking that out at twitch.tv/G4TV or just G4TV.com. Find out where that is, because Attack of the Show I watched like high school, the junior year of high school. I come home, throw that on. It was like this live crazy internet show, but on TV, and they had like video clips that were funny from YouTube, and they did stupid stuff, and they talked to movie directors, and
I love stupid stuff.
Well, like nerd content, and
the problem is I think there's different classes of nerds.
Yes, so they tried to do all the classes of nerds. What class of nerds are you not?
Well, like I'm kind of a computery techie type guy, but not super into like role-playing games or cards or
they had something for you. They had
virginism.
I believe it's called incelism now.
Yeah, yes it is.
But no, it's Attack of the Show was they had a segment called Gadgetron. They would do gadget reviews, tech reviews. They would talk about new computers coming out. Like it was back in the day, it was something interesting. Now it is more like entertainment based, but video game based. But it's still I've been enjoying the revival currently.
I see.
My artwork's been featured on it a few times, and by artwork I mean me just making bad photoshops and
if that's not art, movies. Then what is?
Exactly. Anywhere else you want to go?
I don't know. I'm sure we don't have this network here.
Yeah. Well, actually, who's your cable provider?
Good Lord. Xfinity, Comcast.
Well, they just got on Xfinity.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go inside immediately and turn this channel on.
To fall asleep to?
No, I'm not going to turn it on.
I know you aren't.
I'm probably going to put on the X-Files or cooking shows.
I recommend the live experience because they're recording their episodes like live on Twitch and on YouTube. and then editing it for linear cable. So it's more fun being live, because that's how the show used to be. It was a live show. It was like TRL except for nerds. I feel like that's it for this week's episode.
I think we're done. I think we are done. Let's call it.
Yes. 100 episodes are done. That's it for this week's edition of Naming 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check this episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Naming 90s with 90s, or find our personal accounts at bshwitty and at Naming Andrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/naming90s, also with a 90s. And finally, you can contact us through our website, naming90s.com. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, Good Pods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we'll catch you next time.
It's a real weird place up in here.